The last movie I saw prior to an air conditioner falling on my head was Good Will Hunting. It's the first thing I think of as I wake from my coma. How about them apples? I'm in a familiar place, my childhood bedroom. There are 3 machines to my left, a ventilator, a heart monitor, and a drip feed machine. I lift a hand and study my wispy skin, bulging veins, and wimpy forearms. Make a fist, hurts. Try to snap, silence. I yell, but only a whisper escapes, and I collapse back into sleep. When I wake up again, Mom is beside me. She's singing Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton, a top 10 hit in 1997. She sees me stir, stops, gasps for Dad to come look, and then starts to cry. Dad comes in, gives Mom a big hug, pats my head, kisses me hard on the lips, and says, "Did you have a good nap?" Dad combs his hair now from front to back instead of left to right. He moves deliberately with concentration. Mom is using every button available to her and accessorizes herself with ornamental tigers and butterflies assembled from rhinestones and set in gold-flavored metal. When I wake again, Mom and Dad are still just as happy as before. They tell me what year it is, who the president is. Still? No, Dad answers. His son. Mom brings soup, Dad spoons it in. He reads from a pamphlet and takes me through what I should expect in the next couple of months. Apparently, I'll have trouble walking because I haven't used anything except for my lungs. And I may be suicidal after trying and failing to do things that I used to do. Simple things like writing my name or shaving. They ask me who they are, to name them, to recall my childhood cat's name, the year I went to state in tennis. I can tell from their reaction that I'm getting the answers correct, but I'm not so sure myself. It's reflex. Good sign. Word spreads to friends, family, neighbors, and a woman from the local newspaper. They all ask, "How do you feel?" I tell them, "Rested?" It's my only answer. I can't describe for them the thawed movements and latent emotions. I'm forgiven for not being myself, whoever that used to be. Everything I've ever done or said to people is forgiven. I'm appreciated as life is after it's almost taken. As life is by people who've done everything to preserve it, to protect it, will it back from the brink. After 3 weeks walking the stairs and hallways inside the house, a house my parents would have sold 5 years ago if it hadn't been for my accident, I venture outside. I take a walk with Dad and ask him how they afforded to care for me for so long. I just kept working, he said, as if it's no big deal. But you hated your job. Every day I got to work and keep you alive for another day. I'm not sure how to repay or even accept a gift like that. So I don't. I resent it instead. I'm a time traveler who forgot to add the 0 to the 8. The cars look updated, but not completely new. Houses now stand on once empty lots, and buildings stand where the houses once stood, but it's all very manageable. Small towns don't change much in a decade. I tell him I'm angry for being 39, and he says he thought I would be. I ask him if he's angry at anything. I was angry right until you woke up. It's like when you would stay out past curfew. I'd be angry, for letting it happen, letting you get away with it, letting you hurt yourself. But I'd be flooded with relief when you walked through the door intact. Drunk, but intact. I was drunk when the air conditioner hit me too. A widely known fact that goes unmentioned now. In fact, it's been willfully ignored to make the miracle more pure. We were having a party, Anna and I, to welcome others to our co-owned apartment. I wasn't positive I wanted to move in with her, but it seemed easier to act out the next expected step than to disrupt anticipations. Someone leaned against the air conditioner. I was put downstairs putting trash in the recycling bin. I didn't fasten it to the window properly because I was rushed. A 5-minute job that cost me 8 years. It compressed 3 of my vertebrae and shrunk my height by 1 inch and 1 centimeter. Anna's flying in to see me today. She's been living in our place the whole time since the accident, waiting there in her own coma, slowing life to a sequence of repetitious movements. We recognize each other, hesitate, and then tentatively approach, like dogs sniffing one another before deciding whether or not to fight. I've tried to sit out in the sun and eat fruit so I don't look sickly. She gives me a weak hug, afraid that she'll crack something. She's grown her hair out, colored it, and gained weight. We look like Laurel and Hardy now. A fear of mine before we moved in together was what she'd be like, look like in a few years. She had a problem with motivation and she's done nothing besides exist since then. I also worried that she'd gain weight after a child. Here she is, fat and childless. I mean, there are people that I could go 8 years without seeing and not have a problem picking up right where we left off. Of course, that assumes that you talk to them every now and again, hear things about them, see a picture of them, get a Christmas card from them. A coma is 8 years of nothing, followed by an awkward conversation that usually begins, "So, this is awkward." It's quickly retracted and stomped upon. Then I listen to everything they've been up to. All try to downplay it, as though nothing has happened that's really worth recapping. I have nothing to contribute besides blank stares and expired questions. Do you still have the cat? I ask Anna, briefly forgetting his name. Whopper? No, she died. When? Last week. Oh, I say, taken aback by the recentness and Anna's casualness. Dad drives us back from the airport in a Chevy Aztec, the most futuristic car 6 years old that I've ever ridden in. Anna and Dad have become good friends over the years, and she spends half her time talking loudly to him from the back seat. I interject every now and again with silly questions, and their answers give way too much background. Mostly, I stare out of the back window and make a fist in frustration. In the coma, I wasn't in control of my body, but my mind must have been free. Now, my body is weak but free, and my head is in the past, reliving a confused mixture of infancy, adolescence, and old age. I'm expected to go back with Anna to Chicago. I should have faked memory loss when Mum and Dad first started asking me the questions. A coma patient with amnesia, that's where you want to be. We pull up to the house, and there are 50 cars parked on the street. I look over, and Anna is smiling, hopeful of its infectiousness. "Don't sweat it, Bonds," Dad says. Bonds is his nickname for me. "It's more for us than for you. We just wanted to get all the storytelling and gossip and rumors out of the way. Small town and all. No one expects you to act a certain way. Just say hi and then sneak off with Anna if you want." They don't shout, "Surprise!" when I walk in. Afraid my lightly used heart couldn't take the strain. It gets quiet and then cranks slowly back up to lame. They welcome me as if welcoming home a baby who had complications in the hospital. The parents are congratulated, not me. Eyes examine me for signs of permanent damage. I make myself a drink and get drunk in 3 gulps. After 1 lap of the party, I find Anna and take her upstairs. The sexiness has left her. She undresses me, kisses me, puts me in a bed, and then crawls in beside me with her clothes on. I manage, with a little help from her, to get her pants down to her knees and shirt unbuttoned and pulled to the side. I lift the bra over her breasts and leave it there. I've undressed her exactly 3/4 of the way. I'm surprised I'm hard. I kiss her, starting at the mouth and ending at her inner thigh. I come back up and look into her frightened expression. What's wrong? I ask. Instead of telling me, she says, I'm afraid someone's going to walk in. In the morning, I talk to Mom and Dad about my options. Is there any insurance money or extra cash lying around? They laugh. Is there anyone I could stay with or learn a new trade from? Not really. Graduate school is a possibility full of loans I'd be paying off till my 50s. My previous job as a public relations account executive isn't one I want to resume. Anna chimes in with her 2 cents every time we speak of a new direction for my life. 1 cent for moving back to Chicago, the other for living with her. It's not what she wants anymore. It's what she expects. It's what she's planned. I let Anna go back to Chicago by herself. I tell her I need some time before I jump back into life. I want to get reacquainted with the world. For me, that means crashing on a friend's couch in Kansas City, another in Reno, a futon in Tampa, and a spare bed in Pittsburgh until I've seen enough, or my friends have seen enough of me. I work a variety of jobs: political campaign envelope stuffer, fancy restaurant parking valet, pool cleaner, and assembly line quality control checker, inspector number 35, in the same order of towns I lived in. I make enough to survive on and send home some for Dad's drained retirement fund. After Pittsburgh, I drive around the country, visiting places I've never wanted to go, drinking at bars at night, meeting people who don't know anything about me, sleeping in cars. After the money runs out, I call Anna and I tell her I'm ready to move to Chicago. She seems as satisfied as a kid who saved up her money for a certain thing, maybe a bike, only to have outgrown its allure by the time she has enough to actually buy it. But she gets it anyway, just to keep everyone proud of her fortitude. I move back, and it's as if I never left, minus the gap in the photo album. And much like my childhood home, the place hasn't changed. I summoned my last thoughts before the coma. I wanted to get a glimpse of our future together. Now here I am, enshrined inside of it. Only problem is it came too fast, and I'm having a sudden realization. One I wouldn't have made if it had crept up slowly over 8 years. She's made her apartment, her life, a museum to me, to us, for us. But just as before, it's devoid of a contribution from me. These are her memories of us. If I were outside of me, I'd think that a coma would make me happy just to be alive, but I am ashamed of it. This gift of life I constantly have to write a thank you note to. But I settle in Chicago, and I live the life I promised, and wait for the next awakening.